Good morning. It is a beautiful May 26th, 2024, and I am going to make some more garden beds. So, see these beds behind me? So, you can either make them double decker like this, or you can make a single like the one over here. And I have two more to put together, and I may or may not have more on the way. Four-ish. So that puts me up to about 36 beds. Some of them are double deckers. I like the double deckers because it gives me an opportunity to plant things that require a taller growing space, like my medicinal herbs that I need to collect the roots. And so I like the 24 inches of growing space versus just having like 12 inches of growing space. Not all of them are going to be that way because just the cost of trying to fill them. I have birds chirping, and I should have brought my coffee out with me. All right, let's get started. So these are done by a company called Kingbird. It's on Amazon. God bless Amazon Prime and getting it to me next day. But it's not a little package. They're fairly heavy, 35 pounds-ish. And of course, it's always covered with tape. So we're going to need a handy-dandy knife to undo the tape. My hand out of the way. Now, the aluminum in here that we're going to use is sharp. Think metal for a roof. And so they provide gloves. They provide gloves for you. So there's two pair in each of these. They assume I'm going to have a helper, which is kind of amusing. But ugly gloves it is. Now, usually I'll just put my own gardening gloves on, but these are cut resistant. So while you kind of look like one of the old Mickey Mouse cartoons, okay, I just dated myself. There's some pieces in here that we're going to need to connect these together, but I'll go over them as we go. So I'm just going to slide them out of the way. And then there is the sheets that we're going to put together that are the charcoal gray. You can get it in other colors. I just happen to like this color, and so I stuck with it. Now, we do not want to slide these across my leg because they are sharp metal. Not really on the top and bottoms, but you can ding yourself pretty good on the sides, on the corners. And then there is a boatload of these. These are our connectors, so we're going to make a little room here. Slide me back a little bit and begin. So it would be ideal if you had, say, a even workspace, but that never seems to happen with me. So, and we live in a lumpy, bumpy piece of property, and so when you lay these out, I tip one on my side, I put it in there almost to the end. You want about an inch. And then I start putting the little top and bottom in, beat one end, and then that kind of locks it in place. The other end is usually more particular, but make sure everything is in the channel and it locks in place. Flip it over, grab another one. Now, I literally have done this at least 100 times. So it's a little easier than it looks when I'm doing it because I've done it before. When you first start out doing it, I was like, what are they even thinking about? Okay, so that's one piece. That's going to be like an end piece. when we go to do the sides, we have to hook 2 of these together using the little metal pieces they gave us. But what I like to do is assemble all of the shorts, like this one, at one time. A dragonfly is in my tunnel, and let's see if he'll come see us while we're building. He's huge. I get all kinds of visitors in here. Luckily, not really too many of the humankind, but critters nonetheless. Now, what I did was, if you can see this, I didn't push this far enough down, so I only have an itty bitty lip. I don't want that. So one of the things that you're going to need to have handy is, it's absolutely a bear to take this apart. So if I just pull this back a tiny bit, you'll notice that it went, let me see if I can get my hand behind here. It went down a little bit, so now I have a bigger lip on here. And if I wanted more, I just give it a little tappy, 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 and I'm done. You'll also want the hammer later for when we are putting in the corners on the top and bottom, because if you smack it with your hand gets bruised eventually. So we're going to put all these together. And I like to have them all the same color facing. So we'll do the 6 needed. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 needed to do this one bed, because this is a double bed pack. Last week on Amazon, they were $99 for 2 of the Kingbird beds. These are about 6 feet long, and I think we're close to 3 feet wide, or around 3 feet wide, and about a foot tall. Okay. And they were $99 for 2 of them. That was pretty good, because prior to this, I was spending like $75 a bed, which is not as good of a deal. But I really like them. I've had them now. I started buying them before COVID, so whenever that was at this point. And they've lasted quite a while, and I beat the stuffing out of them and constantly have something growing in them or dying in them on occasion. You know, part of the growing process is trial and error. And I've errored quite a few times. I've had some successes though, so we are trying to add beds this year, because I really want to try to grow, and again, trial and error, some unusual, not able to find in the stores, so to speak, medicinal herbs. And when I came down with Lyme disease, I really used the medicinal herbs for the first time, because I couldn't get regular antibiotics to help me learn to walk again. And so once I did the herbs, within 2 weeks, I was walking. So I kind of really believe in the power of those medicinal herbs now. So I'm not going to grow some of them, like Japanese knotweed. I am not growing at my house. It is highly invasive. And I happen to have found a place about a mile away that they have it. They don't know what they're doing. Tried to plow it down. That doesn't work, because the root is about 3 feet deep. And it's coming back. So what I'm going to do is go over with a shovel and ask him if I can dig up a little root. And it's not a little root, it's a big root. Grab some of that. And I'll probably do that in the next couple weeks. Chop it up. You have to chop it before it dries because it's like sawing a 2x4 to get that chopped up. So before it dries, we got to get it chopped up, dry it out, and tincture it. Let's see. All right, now I think what I'm going to do is I already have, let's see, 2, 4, 6. I already have 6 over there. So I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. And I'm going to build a bed while you watch so that you can see how simple it is. This is for the next bed. Let me put the bottom on it before I go any further because I don't want to cut myself. All right. And I just compost the box it comes in. Okay, let's get going. So, what did I do with my handy dandy knife? So there's these corners. You're going to get those. Each, there's a set for each bed. So this is one bed's worth. Then there is these. This is a set for each bed. So you've got 2 bags of each of these. We only need 1 at the moment. Then there's some clips in here that clip the top and the bottom together if you want to make these 2 beds into 1. I'm not going to worry about that because these are going to be single beds. They are going on the other side of my tomatoes. And don't ask me what I'm putting in them yet, but I think my grandson has convinced me we have to have watermelons. So there's that. Carrots are going somewhere. I haven't even planted them yet. Haven't figured it out, but let's put a bed together. So the hardest part of these is getting the dang bag open if you don't have a knife. So a knife is a handy thing to have. Okay, one more. Oh, have mercy. Knife out of the way. Now, I lay the corners at approximately the 4 corners of your box so that I can get to them fairly easily when I need them. Now, the first thing I need is 2 of these. There's a total of 4, so we're going to put one set behind me, 1 set in front of me, and I'll do the beds. So what you got to do is get 2 of these. Okay. Now, right here, they're going to go together and they're going to lock in place. And by that, I mean the bottom one hooks in, and then when you flip it up, there it goes. The piece of metal from this one has to clip into the slide behind this silver thing. So now if I can just keep it like this, okay. The other thing I really like to have is some sort of 2x4 to put under here so I have a firm surface to smack this thing with. I line up the little holes, and naturally the stupid hammer is way over here. Sometimes I can get both of them on here at the same time. So let's see, this one has to come up. Ooh, please let me get that one fell swoop. Okay, there's one. And I got top and bottom at the same time, but normally I have to flip it over and put the other one on. So I must have positioned that just right. So this is one side now. So I'm going to set it over on my side. Now I'm going to do another side. And I'm putting one of these on the bottom. You can see these little notches. That's what I'm lining up. Let's see, let's put that in front. And I'm going to get these in here. All right, so I usually put them side by side, but I'm trying to do it so that you can see too. And I tuck that piece of metal in there. Now I'm going to set them down without taking them apart all at the same time. And I'm just going to put the top on like I normally do. Then flip it over. Hold that, flip, do the other sides. Now, they'll pull apart up here, so you just got to get one side lined up, and sometimes I got to stick my toes under there. 1, 2. Okay, now we got both sides. So that one's going behind me because that'll be that side of the thing. Then I have one down here for the rear and one in the front. So let me see if I can do this where you can actually see good. Again, we're going to need this. I put it under the corner and I try to have a little hangover there for the wood so that it can... Now notice this is like all wonky because it's all uneven. I just got to get that little piece in there and it will help with stabilizing it. Now for this side, I get it where it needs to be, give it a smack, and it locks in place. Now I put this over the top, try to get it in place, and this first corner is always the hardest. All right, that's now locked in. That will help me with stability, so I'm going to turn around and do this corner. Let's see. See if I can move this stool. So I find it easier if I do the bottom one first. So I lay that on there. When I first started this, I was trying to do all of them at the same time, but it's too crazy. All right, so that locked in down here. And now, move stool. Okay, now I'm going to try to get this side lined up. There it is. Hand out of the way. Okay. Now the top. So I'm putting the top over, lining up where I need to be. Ta-da! That one's done. Coming to the other end. So see, this is not very difficult. It's just a matter of, would it be easier if I had somebody else? Sometimes. But I figured out how to do it pretty good without worrying about everybody else. So let me back this up a tiny bit. And then I won't be. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to pop these two corners on, and then that will be the end of our box. And I'm going to go take that out to the tomatoes and make... Got one more I have to do today. So that's 3 this morning. And then 4 more coming. Wish me luck. Okay, last side's on. Let me lift and I'll show you. There's our bed. Now, I'm 5 foot, so it's got to be somewhere close to 6. But It's pretty easy to carry and move where you want it to be. So you don't have to use it right where you build it. Although that makes life much easier if you don't have to move things. But let's fill this up. Because I have about 4 tons of dirt delivered and compost. So let's get that done.